to Total War Warhammer 2. This is an online battle that I've played recently. It's a very close game. So I'm playing as the Vampire Coast against the Chevaliers de Lyonnais. I've got my Luther Harkin, the Deckhand mob, a couple of Deckhand mobs, 4 deck gunners, 4 halberd infantry to defend my mortars and my cannons from cavalry charges, and 1 single regiment of renown, a gunnery mob with handguns. I'm up against Réponse de Lyonnais with a load of cavalry and the usual cannon fodder that is the Bretonnian infantry, as well as some hero entity units. That's the standard, and I've got my 2 units of scurvy dogs hiding out back, waiting until they leave some of their squisher units unprotected. So let's get started. As I have the missile advantage, they have to push forward, which suits me quite well. Especially with the long range of the deck gunners, 245 meters, it's very useful. See the men at arms being slaughtered before they even get close.
Get away! The lady's blessing at last!
See, already breaking them. See, it's to be expected to destroy the Bretonnian infantry, but it's really difficult to watch out for all the cavalry charges. You can see my opponent is attempting to flank me from multiple angles. Luther Harkin is going to push forward, try and do some damage to his healer, the Damsel of Life, to try and take her out, and she's already very broken straight away. Just got to retreated with Luther Harkin. I don't want him to take too much damage, and he doesn't need to. So my deck gunner doing a good job. Now his cavalry is charging in, which I didn't notice until it was quite late, unfortunately. Then I saw got my halberd infantry in there, which I rescued the situation somewhat. He charged again. I've already got my halberds in position to block most of this damage that's coming in. As you can see, I finally brought in my scurvy dogs from behind to mop up some of the infantry. Pulled them back when I saw Henry Le Massive, because he would absolutely shred them. Just got them to run off some of the units off the battlefield to chase off this healer. Scurvy dogs are chasing off after support infantry, helping as much as they can. Luther Harkin is buffed. As you can see, the halberds stacked on top of the mortars are doing excellently well. They're working their way through the knights errant. They're already breaking. Scurvy dogs are retreating. There's no point in getting them killed too easy. On the other side, the halberds are doing a good job as well, holding against the regiment's renown knights errant. We're bringing in back my scurvy dogs after they've chased off my enemy's healer. The battle is very even at this point in time. My enemies still got a lot of cavalry. It's very dangerous for me. I pushed in with Luther Harkin slightly, but scurvy dogs trying to relieve my deckhand mob. Nice fire blast from Luther Harkin. He's gonna fire down with his pistol from above. Unfortunately, Rapunzel to Leonie is still full health, and she's got a lot of support around her. It'll be very difficult to take her out, and a lot of my units are beginning to waver. And you can see leadership falling dreadfully low. But they're holding longer than expected. And Luther's still firing off from above. Charge there. Attempting to terror out some of the Bretonnia units. Massive work, they're getting a good number of kills on the Bretonnian cavalry. He began taking damage, so I decided to pull him out. There's no point in him losing too much health. Pull him out now, he can regenerate a bit. But the battle is evidently not going my way. See, my units are beginning to get overrun by the superior Bretonnian numbers. It's on my very last stand. But Luther Harkin, I'm having him shoot at the single entity, and he managed to take out Rapunzel's support. Despite my low numbers, the Bretonnians' morale is very low. Got Luther chasing after and killing off my enemy's entities. Alright, the battle appears to be going well. Still, the Rapunzel at full health is still very difficult to deal with, as well as the Bretonnians beginning to come back to the battle, with only one being shattered, made by a situation much more difficult. As well, given that I had lost my scurvy dogs, so I couldn't chase them off. Luther Harkin's still firing down, doing all he can. Getting a nice amount of kills on the cavalry. This fire attack. As you can see, all the Bretonnians are now returning to the battle, and it's not looking good with my vastly depleted army forces. Barely any health remaining. This is where I knew this was my last chance to win the battle, so I charged in trying to get the terror routes from Luther Harkin as a Hail Mary. And luckily I did. I managed to break Rapunzel in a very lucky manner, which caused the rest of the Bretonnian units to shatter and gave me a very lucky victory. You can see 34 remaining compared to the 305 Bretonnians. It was a very lucky victory.